First of all, I can't believe you're 41. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, thank you so much.
I really don't. But I mean, you've always wanted to have kids, haven't you? It's something that you've thought about.
You know, it is something that I've kind of always wanted, and I think now seeing my sister has 2 little boys and spending time with them, and I really realised, right, I need to step on it now.
Sure. Now, this whole idea of freezing your eggs, not something, not something that you take on lightly. I mean, there are mental and physical tolls on you. You know, it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, no, it's not something that you can just, you know, do the injection and go straight back to the office. Like, it was tough, very emotional, cried a lot. Not just the injections that you have to do daily, and, you know, but then you'll put on the pills, and then you just feel it's like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it must be.
The first couple of days, I thought, oh, this is fine, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then halfway through, I thought, wow, this is actually tough. And especially doing it on my own.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, do you feel ready to be a single mum, or would you rather be in a relationship? What's the plan for the future? Because there's so many options, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I have a friend that is willing to be the father.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, you know, I'm really considering we're going to do that.
Right. That's a massive commitment from him as well.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously he's going to have to be part of the child's life.
Oh, definitely.
Of course.
And he's prepared to do that.
That's a very, very good, a very good friend. Because, you know, although you look amazing, but, you know, time is marching on.
Time's ticking.
That's the thing. And it would be great. You never know. You might meet somebody this weekend.
Exactly.
You never can tell. You never can tell. But you just want to have a baby.
The problem is that's what I was always thinking. I thought, oh, no, I'll do it, and then I'll meet someone, but I still haven't met them. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm going to freeze my eggs. I'm going to just do it now.
Sure.
It was hitting the 40 mark. I wish I'd done it sooner, to be honest.
It's interesting. Do you think there's a cut-off point, Sarah? Do you think there's a time where actually it's just not going to work at all?
Well, unfortunately, I'm sure you know, because you said you wish you'd done it sooner. The chances, if you have egg freezing, are better of it working later on if you have your eggs frozen before you're 34.
Right.
Now, that's largely to do with what we call the quality of the eggs. Because actually, it's not to do with how old you are when you carry your baby, it's how old you are when the eggs were produced. So, for instance, things like, say, Down syndrome, if you're 35, you've got a 1 in 350 chance of having a baby with Downs. By the time you're 40, it's 1 in 100. By the time you're 45, it's 1 in 30.
Sure, and then
so
it's down to you to make that choice, I guess. And what about how long can you keep eggs frozen for? Like, I mean, if you're a young girl now, say, you know, some young girls, you know, might be in their 20s and think, I'm going to do that, just...
So we, on the whole, do not recommend it routinely. This is not an easy option. You know that. You've taken this very seriously, Victoria. But when it comes down to it, we will, for instance, freeze eggs for someone who's had to have, say, cancer treatment, which means they can't have babies. Otherwise, they are usually kept for not more than 10 years. But you can apply, under exceptional circumstances, to have them kept for up to 55 years.
Wow. Gosh, that's extraordinary.
But, of course, you also need to think what you're going to do about them. You know, they will ask you, I'm sure they asked you, what would you want done with these eggs if, by any chance, you were to pass away?
Oh, yeah, you have to sign
all those side of things.
That really makes you face up
It's serious stuff.
a lot of very emotional issues, actually. It really does, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
If something happens to you,
And it's, you know, it's not cheap. Physically, it's demanding. If it does succeed, and there's a new process called vitrification, which seems to mean that egg freezing is more successful than it was. But even if it's successful, the current rates are about 14%. So, you know, it's not an easy option. And then you have to have something called ICSI, which is a kind of super IVF, if you like, because you actually have to inject the sperm into the egg, because the freezing process makes the wall of the egg tough, so the sperm can't get through.
Gosh, so I mean, even if you freeze your eggs, you're not guaranteed. I mean, you can't sit here today and say, I've done this process, therefore I will be a mother.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I'm ready to do it for the second time, just to be,
you know, just... You're going to go through it all over again?
I know, I'm about to start again. And, you know, dreading it, but excited at the same time. I just want to be sure, because I've had friends that they were successful the first time and they had a baby from the IVF, but then, of course, they got pregnant, had the baby, waited that extra year and a half to start it again, and then it took them 7 times the second time around. So I am about to start the second one.
Gosh, like we said, it's a huge commitment, and financially, we're talking thousands, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are, and it's not available on the NHS except in exceptional cases, say cancer. So it's several £1,000s to do it. Then it's a couple of £100 a year to freeze the eggs, to keep the eggs under conditions. Then, of course, there's the cost at the IVF or the ICSI at the other end.
Gosh.
So yeah, it all adds up.
And then there's all the things that they don't tell you about, as in when you do decide to have the embryo, you know, put in you, then you have to start all these injections again for what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, so basically
every single day.
It's another 4 round of IVF and
But
this super
they don't want to
IVF.
scare you and tell you that in the beginning.
But you have to have a determination to have a child, or it's not.
exactly.
It's
And
not for you.
and I'm sure giving birth is like going to be a lot harder.
Well, I hope
So-
you get your opportunity. I really
Thank
do,
you.
Victoria. Thank you for coming in and talking to us about it, because it's something I think that a lot of women now are thinking of. You know, not in their 40s, even before that.
Since I'm doing it, actually, quite a lot of people I know have all been getting in touch. Either they've done it or they're like, wow, I want to do it. Like, please, you know, give me more details on it.